Welcome back, Swiper. Welcome back.
Yeah, I guess I'm here to stay.
You're trapped. Also, you didn't add in. You were telling more of that pie shoe story. You were smashing. You were double fisting them.
I was double timing the pies.
Good lord.
It was right after a gym session too.
So those that don't know, and everyone in the order house will know, is that Swiper is only allowed one junk food binge a week. Otherwise, if he gets caught with junk food a second time, he owes whoever caught him $50. So I would like to
Did you
send
implement
a
this rule?
Twitch chat.
I enabled the
This
rule
is
because
self-control.
it's because like there's a KFC and Macca's 2 minutes walk away.
Yeah, right.
So I really need something to like stop me.
I would ask Twitch chat whether 2 pies
Well, I was going to
considered
say,
junk food.
is it one sitting or is it one piece of junk food? Because if it's one sitting, you just gorge.
No, I saw him at KFC on Tuesday.
So there you go.
Yeah, I had a
All right, it is time. Before we move on to the next segment, by the way, I just want to point out there's some quick meme action happening on some team Twitters at the moment. Gravitas, if we could get this picture up, I believe we have it. Gravitas have already made a hashtag not that bad t-shirt that you can buy. So they have already branded themselves like that. Well done, Gravitas. I like that hustle. Jake's proud.
I'm very happy with that. That's pretty good design. Like, low-key, that's one of those t-shirts where if you're standing like far away, you're like, oh, what is that? Like my penguin t-shirt yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you come up close and you're like, oh, it's a penguin. You come up close and you're like, oh, it isn't that bad.
Yeah,
I like that.
they're not that bad.
It's a not bad shirt,
There
and
you
then
go.
you say, oh, yeah, you guys aren't bad.
Yeah, it's great. I love
Yeah,
it.
cool.
All right, moving on now to a segment we're going to call How to Beat Every Team in the OPL. So obviously there's a lot of new players in the OPL. There's a new caster. We have a lot of new fans. So we thought we'd give you just brainstorm some ways to beat every team. Just we want to know if you were gonna take them out, how would you do it?
In general.
Just in general.
Not on the Rift.
Well, it could be anything. It could be anything. It's just a way to get in their mind. A way, like, if it was on the Rift, say, you're here now.
Yep.
So if I was going to say, how would I beat Order?
How would I beat Order?
I would say, like, I'll start it off.
Yeah, no, you go.
I would
won't give the
say,
answer.
I would, before the game, I would take away all the Puma shoes. And then legally, you would not be allowed to appear on the broadcast.
That's true.
So there you go. Remove your Puma shoes. There's no Order.
I would remove the gym.
Oh,
if
no.
I remove the gym from my team, my top laner and jungle, and me potentially, actually maybe me the most, would be just pent up rage balls.
I mean,
I'd
be gaining 30 kilos in about 2 months.
You would just be a pie.
I wouldn't even make it to the studio.
Yeah, then you can just take Swiper's shoes because he has to go for the run.
There you go.
It's pretty difficult then, isn't it?
Okay, so Order, no shoes, no gym, anything else?
Just get fast food on delivery every day, mate.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to plump them
They're
up.
just done.
Yeah.
There's no money.
Plump them up.
There's no Uber to get
Plump them up.
Plump it.
All right, good. I'm happy with that. Chiefs. How do we take down the Chiefs?
If someone could point out to me how that works, I would really like it.
Yeah, I mean,
No one
We
knows yet.
obviously don't know.
yeah, I thought I'd know, you know. But I learned that
Apparently
last
not.
night.
Get
So
10,000
don't
ahead
ask
before you
Swiper.
bet.
don't ask Swiper. That's a good one.
Maybe download the Duolingo app so you can speak Korean and tilt them in another language.
That's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like outside the box, right?
Yeah.
Okay. To tilt. Also, I would say just get all the rookies to just start spamming the voice chat because apparently that'll tilt Claire enough and he just won't be able to handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So
what if
yeah.
we give Katsuri too much confidence?
Oh,
Yesterday.
did you see that interview?
No, I didn't actually.
Because he's lacking in a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He sat there and he was like, my team carried me and like, I'm not playing the best. And we were just trying to be like, you were good, man. You were fine.
So
but
to upset them, you make
What if
Katsuri
we-
arrogant.
Change the dynamic a bit, you know?
yeah, what if
Yeah.
we give him too much confidence? How does the
What was
team
that?
react?
Is that the play? So we just make Katsuri arrogant, and then that's their downfall.
That's it. That's totally. I mean,
Gotcha.
isn't that's most sports teams' downfall? All right, Diables. How do we take them out? How do we take them out?
Get rid of strawberry milk. I can tell you this one 100%. If you cut off their strawberry milk supply, they will lose.
I saw Shock's shapes on his table as well,
Yeah,
so get rid of them too.
Shapes are a good
Yeah.
one.
I think you just have to add more Australians to the team, and then all the Kiwis will have beef.
Shock would rather have strawberry milk than any meal in the day.
Really?
I know how to beat this team. Rusty needs to be reinstated as their coach.
I could make a noise in a heartbeat.
We did not beat them throughout the whole year. As soon as Rusty was their coach at the end of the year, they lost their support.
Coach at the start of the year.
Around
I was the coach at the start of the year
That's
when
what
we
I
were
wrote.
beating you.
Yeah, but no, Kai was a stage coach and we could not win. As soon as Kai gone, Order up. That's all I'm saying.
Was it
It's
Guy
like,
or
why
was
am
it
I getting
everything
flamed
else?
so hard? Eh?
Who knows?
I'm staying out of this one.
Who knows?
Gravitas. How do we do it?
Third wheel Pralus' Valentine's Day.
Oh, right. So just major tilting.
Yeah, and then he'll just be so tilted that he'll just rock up to work and just be pent up.
Lowest
Anger.
ceilings. No, or is that?
Yep,
Mammoth.
lowest ceil-
That's
That's
Mammoth.
Mammoth.
Okay,
That's Mammoth.
wrong team. Yeah, so he wears Yeezys. Ban Echo was a good one today.
Yeah.
That worked out quite well.
maybe
Echo,
maybe
that's the first
ban.
piece of actual
Wait,
advice.
did we say Gravitas?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
ban on. He's played that 7 games in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Also, if we did my plan and annexed WA from being part of Australia,
Yeah.
they also wouldn't have an 80 carry because Scion is from WA. We also don't have an 80 carry, but we'll
True.
figure it out.
I would also say, well, today you said that they're not that bad.
Yep.
Just on broadcast, say you're shit.
Ah.
Because they just seem to be following the advice. It
Yep.
just seems to be like we can take credit for today's win. So just call them out and they won't be able to win. There you go. AV.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, I don't know.
To go straight
They
to
lost-
Rusty.
They lost
No
a lot
reason.
under you.
I don't know.
Ban Maud. Like, if we want to go a serious one,
Yep.
Drag Coup on Maud versus Drag Coup on any other champion in League of Legends
Yep.
is
That's brutal.
big gap.
He is, but he is a very good mod.
No,
so
but that's what I'm
I'll,
saying. Like, he
I'll
might
give
be a
it to
7
him.
out of 10, and
Yeah.
whereas he's a 10 out of 10. You're just
Yeah.
a negative Nancy over
He's
there.
That's good as well.
I want to continue this, but I have to go to the chat. The Wolfman says, why do Rusty's pants and Swiper socks match? And they
That's
don't.
actually quite true. eh? We
Far
did
off.
really-
What is that about?
Far off.
Get a zoom
bad.
up on that.
Take those.
Look at
It was
that.
all planned.
We all knew I was
Come on,
winning.
energy, boys.
I was winning. I was coming home.
You can't wear a single texture that doesn't exist somewhere else.
wearing denim.
Pentanet. I mean, NXWA.
Pentagon. Pentagon. You mean?
Pentagon.
Pentagon.
Oof. Oof.
How do you beat them? Behavior check for Yaxuli might
yeah.
be one way.
Yep.
He's a bit lippy in solo queue every now and again.
Positive.
Can we deport Western Way in some way? Because it seems to be the team are rallying around him.
Yeah, back to.
there a
Ooh,
way to get
actually,
him
you
out?
know what would really.
Where was he
tweet
born?
Rogue.
Yeah.
Remove every other game off his computer apart from League of Legends. Because he's like a Q game machine. He's Minecraft, he's Skyrim, all those things were like, he is an insane, like,
Yep.
casual gamer.
Yep.
I think that if you got rid of them and he just had to focus on League, maybe Brain Explode. Also, remove cats from Earth, and Rogue would not be able to exist.
Earth.
From
That's a pretty that feels like a global punishment as opposed to necessarily just rogue
Well, I
specific.
mean, he
but
did
sure.
say he was going to ruin the entire state of WA with mining, didn't he?
I mean, that is true.
So, I feel like that's
And then finally, Mammoth.
I think we should figure out how to help them win.
Yep.
I'm just going to go out there.
Well, I had a list. How to beat Mammoth. Mine here was just show up.
far
Does that
out.
count?
It does.
That count?
I like the
So-
idea of lowering the ceiling or raising the floor, though.
Because there are some tall boys.
I reckon you just get some-
raising
Yeah, they are
the
very
floor.
tall, actually.
You're like,
Have you seen the handshakes they have? Because there's the platform before
Yeah.
the ground, and
yeah.
Kweku's standing up there. It's just like, yeah, good game, mate. Every time.
So
That's hilarious.
that's where my roller coaster one was going to come in. Because if you had to be above 5'10"
Yep.
to play, I think all of Mammoth make it, and I think 2 people on my team make it.
Yeah. Right.
5'10".
Yeah,
Only one.
yeah.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, no.
Dream and Harry.
Yeah. The rest of us
on
are like
there.
we're like
Yeah,
five.
Harry's
We're like
tall.
5'8".
And if you look at like Legacy, some of their players are quite short as well.
There you
So
go.
I think you could get rid of like some, like maybe the smaller you are, the better you are at League of Legends.
Is it time to go to a theme park and just like measure yourself up against the ride and be like, oh, you're a kid, get out?
It probably
Is that the play?
I think that is the play. So
Beautiful.
there you go. There's your advice for how to beat every team in the OPL. It's foolproof, and all you need to do is kill every cat on the planet.
Not kill,
What did you
remove.
say?
cryogenically freeze for a generation.
Right. Okay.
Let's not kill
Just
these.
until Rose
not
dies,
kill
and then we can bring back all the cats.
Retire. He
He's
doesn't need to
humane.
die.
There's nothing else. He's
All right,
humane.
it is time for game number 3. It's Legacy versus Direwolves. Let's get up the Legacy lineup. Swiper, you can talk through this.
So we got Tapoon in the top lane, Babip in the jungle. I call him enemies because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Big Quinny K and Isles. So I would say they're a pretty scary lineup. They're very good team fighters. I would say their macro game needs a bit of work, but when they get their ARAMs, it's hard.
Yeah, they've been very, very shaky in their early games at the moment, but yesterday they got a stiff they wanted 21 minutes, so what can you say to fault it?
I'd say we forgot Legacy on our list. So very quickly, how do we beat Legacy? It's impossible. You can't.
No, it's not. Australian government's going to take care of this. The environment's already going down the toilet. Trees dead.
There you go. All right, and up against Legacy, we do have the Dire Wolves. Jake, who are the Wolves?
Okay, so before I do this one, the other thing that beats Legacy is grand finals. They've never won one. And Direwolves
He just goes in.
Former Chiefs player.
Vital as the AD carry and Danny Decoy support. Coach Kai going to be pacing behind them. He's a pacer as well. We have some good pacers in the OPL.
Look at him right there.
Yeah, no, he's a mover.
Up and down. That's a lot of tension. All right, it is time to get into game number 3 for the evening. Swipe, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Nick.
And we'll be back right after this short break.
Game 3 here in the OPL today as we enter Macca's Champions Select once more. Legacy with a clean record there. Looks pretty impressive. 3-0 up against the Direwolves 2-1. They flexed 2 different rosters so far, but they come out in full force today here, Spawn.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is definitely the better of the Direwolves roster, and the one I expect to see majority of the year unless Decoy and Cupcake start sharing some time. As we heard from Kai yesterday, that they were using Cupcake a little bit in scrim, but it does seem like Decoy is the starter for now. And I do want to touch on this Legacy lineup, because this is one of those games where if they win it, they go 4-0 on the weekend. Until their match up against the Chiefs next week, certainly cementing themselves as my favourite in the league right now, and are certainly an intimidating lineup.
4-0 would look pretty good, regardless of how you get there. It's the victories that you're after. You see a Nocturne ban, I believe it's the first one we've seen of the split so far.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. However, we've seen Nocturne kind of played everywhere globally. Vedius was a huge fan of mid Nocturne at Worlds. It came out twice there. I think we've seen it played once top lane,
yeah.
In Europe.
LEC,
and then, yep, we've seen it also played in the jungle. So I think it's one of those really versatile bans. When you are the Direwolves solo laners and Chippies and Shock historically known for things like his Urgot and Zillion, Chippies for things like his Fiora, Camille, even his Olaf, right? So I think that that's a good ban with a little bit of research, because they certainly can play it in 3 lanes.
Well, blitzing through this pick and ban phase, both AD carries locked in, same with the junglers, and a blind pick for Legacy in the mid lane with a LeBlanc, and a Braum picked up here by the Direwolves.
And I'm really interested that we don't see more LeBlanc bans against MNES, because so far it has been far and away his best champion, right? This guy seems to be an absolute machine on the pickup and has been able to take over multiple games. And Legacy continue this trend of just dropping Topoon down the draft. He is starting to get some continued attention here, right? Akali, one of his good champions, is things like the Set there as well. Aatrox now being taken off. However, they're just showing that they have confidence in their Korean top laner in Legacy, that he's going to be able to play a myriad of different champions to the highest of levels.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they do decide to put Topoon in the end. The fresh ban comes out, potentially signifying that Direwolves don't want to have to deal with any of those pesky little lanterns, not to mention all the other bits that Fresh has to offer.
And we've kind of mentioned this before, right? But Oceania as a region historically hasn't played Tahm Kench. And if you're going to play Aphelios or Senna, it seems that you need Braum or Thresh to be able to make it work through mobility. So unless Isles is going to play Tahm Kench here, it has to be a kill lane for the Legacy lineup. Otherwise, there is just so much threat that is going to be, you know, nullified by this Senna Braum combo. They're going to be certainly very healthy. And, you know, Vital's role now isn't to necessarily carry, it's to play one of those utility roles until the very late game of being able to keep Chippies and Shock alive in this lineup.
Well, Chippy's Camille is denied. We saw how much work he was able to put in the game yesterday. He's starting to really take over it as he went into those side lanes and ran with the wins. But we are going to see the Mordekaiser slip through the draft.
And I expect that to go to Shock. Shock played Mordekaiser even last year in the mid lane, and he's certainly a really good Mord player, right? So I think that this is one of those games where he can pick that up, go toe-to-toe with MNES. And given the fact that there is a lot of kill threat through a LeBlanc and Rek'Sai combo, you want to be able to defend the 1-3-1 against Legacy, because whilst they have been A-ramming, I'm sure that Denian would have this team working on the side lane matchups. And oh, there it is.
There it is. We're going to see the debut of what has been coined as something so disastrous. I even read a post that Riot are going to address it, get it nerfed soon, TM. But for the meantime, we're going to get to see what a Soraka can do. Maybe we're going to see a double support comp in that regard of heals and heals.
Yeah, I would have loved to actually seen the Yuumi, because I think it would have nearly made Babip or Aminez unkillable with Soraka Yuumi combo. And LeBlanc is one of the best users of Yuumi in the game. And whilst we said the bottom lane is super safe from Direwolves, she's definitely not killing an Aphelios Yuumi lane, right? So I think that could have been the case. However, Rakan has emerged as one of the best picks into Braum at the moment, so they can certainly be a little bit more aggressive now down in that bottom lane. And against Gangplank, going in the Ornn for chippies, certainly not the counter pick I would have expected to see. I like fire with fire, but not going to be the case.
Yeah,
oh, no, it's against Soraka, sorry.
Well, we saw the Gangplank hovered, but then, yeah, obviously flexing into Soraka. The Ornn slipping through to the very last pick. Not something that we commonly see, but we do definitely commonly see him a fair bit.
So let's think of why, right? What is Vital going to build that can be upgradable? Definitely Ghostblade, but not the preferred item. You would much rather go Dustblade into Edge of Night, because it gives you that shield. You think about what Shock's going to build. Zhonya's, yes, but it's one of the worst upgrades. I think it's only like 1,200 gold worth of value. Deathcap, probably not on a Mord. What does Elise go? Once again, maybe Zhonya's, but defensive itemization's always been tricky. And Braum's not a great locket user as well. He'd much rather the convergence side of that option. So I think that this is one of the worst Ornn pickups for the ornaments. For the actual team fight, like, he's got a very, low damage lineup. He's going to be a super tank, and he's going to be able to face take a lot of the damage. But I'm just thinking, for team value, would Legacy really be worried if they can set this Ornn behind in a good laning phase? Potentially not, but I do like the pickup for the team comp and the team fight, and being able to brawl throughout this mid-game, when Legacy should be waiting to come online still.
Two very early game junglers between the Rek'Sai and the Elise. Be interested to see where their priority goes with the debut of this Soraka coming on out, and Mordecai is obviously in the mid lane there. On standby, we do have Direwolves coach Kai. Thank you once again for joining us.
Yeah, nice to see you guys for like the 4th time now.
That is it. We're getting pretty friendly on the couch here.
I was going to say, you're the only coach I actually speak to. So,
I feel like I may as well just stay here from now on and just assume after it.
Welcome to join always. Talk to me about the Soraka top pick. We saw it a lot last night in the LCK. I'm sure you were watching that as well. What does it do?
Yeah, we've seen it and we've played it. It's honestly just obnoxious. Riot, please get rid of this champion. It should not be up there. It is honestly just ruining the game, but in my opinion at least. But yeah, like, we don't have much experience into it, and we were like, okay, let's pick for comp. Let's pick something beefy. That's not like they're going to heal. Who cares if they heal when we have a whole bunch of tank anyway? And let's run off of our 2 imports who are playing, very high tempo, like very skilled champs. And eventually we'll get to the point that Senna hopefully just starts really just one-hitting people.
Off the back of that question, Jake highlighted a moment about the Ornn, obviously with his upgrades. You talk about composition at scaling. Is that the major talking point here, that you're just going to have to hope that the early game isn't too shaky and that you can reach those big pop-off points for the likes of Vital?
Yeah, very much so. It's just like, okay, guys, hold on. Like, play around this jungle. I think Elise pick is just ridiculously good at the moment. Let him get you ahead. If they get a kill in lane, they'll kind of just start dominating. And LeBlanc does fall off. Like, very famous for just being like, oh, well, I can't really play the game anymore. And that's pretty much what we plan on doing. And to give credit where credit's due as well, because I absolutely love Denian. He had a really good draft. Like, he did really well as well, but I think we also did quite well. So we'll just see how it comes out.
And now talk to me about the league state, because we've seen Gravitas pick up a win. We saw Order be shocking yesterday, then pretty good today. We've seen Avant be pretty shocking, then pretty good. Like, what are you making of the OPL so far?
Like, this comes back to, I think I said it in my first interview, like when we were on here as well, you cannot predict the teams this early in the season. Anyone can be really doing well. Everyone's like, oh, there's so many unknown people in OPL. They're all coming up. We've scrimmed with most of them. Everyone's getting there, and it's super early, and the meta is really weird. It's a team fighting meta, so all these OCS players coming up, that's all you do in OCS. They're experienced with it, and it just comes down to mechanically kind of who's a bit better, and Macro's not playing as big of a part anymore, which really sucks for me as a coach. But, any team can win right now until Riot gets rid of stupid stuff like Soraka.
Well, there she is on your screen right now. Thank you very much, Kai, for joining us as
always.
always.
Very much.
I'm sure we'll see you again sometime soon. But yeah, this is what Soraka's doing. Do you still call them bananas even with that skin?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of knows the auto attacks as bananas, and I think, you know, obviously we played Legacy last week. This is something that we were a little bit worried about. So I think that Topoon is one of the better Soraka players in the league and definitely the most comfortable. And you can see that right now it's doing quite a good job in the laning phase.
Starfall comes across, heals to follow, and auto attacks to get in your face. So,
So the
definitely a
thing-
lane to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so the thing about the laning phase, right, as hold the thought, because Mir is looking in the mid lane, Babbitt will spot that out, but the thing about the Soraka lane is that if you stand in the creep wave, she gets to heal up with her Q and poke you out. That was a mistake Chippy's made on the first wave, right? However, he seems to have rectified that. He's instead just zoning himself off creeps and hoping the wave crashes into his turret. At about level 5, he'll start shrugging off a lot of this damage. But at the same time, in team fights, she is a terrain alterer. Silence is one of those legacy holdover abilities in League of Legends that feels like it shouldn't exist in the game. So when you take a look at what she does, she closes off a large chunk of terrain where you can use abilities. And a center's going to rely on abilities. Everyone else in this comp also relies on abilities, right? So you have to play the game very differently around it. And then she also just heals everyone to an obnoxious degree once she gets 2 items, right? She just buys the cheap support items. Obviously, in a solo lane, you get way more gold than you're used to as a support. Go towards something like an Athene's Redemption build, and you just can have bonus healing out the wazoo, and she's really, really tough to deal with in those mid-game team fights.
So then, run me through like the dream situation really here for a Legacy composition. If they were to go into a team fight, are they fully reliant on Soraka landing a good silence, or are we able to play around that?
So pretty much what you want to do is get there first, right? Make sure they're checking into your Fog of War. You want Rakan on a flank, and you want to be able to nullify one of the burst combos with the Soraka ultimate. That's pretty much what the MO is. In that stage, Razor's DPS output should be much higher than Vital's majority of this game until, you know, very late on. And then Raze should be able to carry out those fights. What you don't want is Soraka or one of your tankless lineups to have to be face checking into an Ornn, big Ornn ulti going across and everyone getting blown up by the center ultimate. So I think it's really integral that Legacy get there first. Swiper highlighted on the couch that he wasn't a huge fan of Legacy's macro at the moment. Kai doesn't seem to think it's all that important at the moment. But I think being able to get to the fight on your terms is really, really key when you're playing a comp like Legacy's.
It's going to be interesting to see if Legacy are the ones being proactive or reactive, and so far it seems to be the former as Babbitt jumps across the wall with the burrow right there. Topoon taking 2 tower shots, going for a third. He will survive, and Babbitt says, thank you very much for first blood.
And I mean, that's just obnoxious, right? Being pinned against the wall, down double CS, now going to have to teleport back to this lane because you cannot miss 2 waves. Topoon's going to have global threat through a heal, which doesn't really make all that much sense, but global assistance maybe is a better way to put it. And Chippy's, this game's pretty out of his control now. He's not going to be the one carrying it. We take another look at this. Chippy's wedges himself against the wall. You can just see that's the silence. That's going to be the snare coming across. Good damage coming from Babbitt, and Topoon takes the maximum amount of turret shots.
Unable to respond in that regard. They will forced to respond in the bottom half of this map. I'm going to pick up here the Mountain Drake.
And I've really liked Babbitt's weekend this weekend. Babbitt is this jungler, right, that's kind of known for not being overly aggressive, protecting his strong lanes is a saying that you hear a lot. But this weekend, he's certainly... Oh, shock.
Defram goes out, 4 Conqueror stacks are there, but the root follows as M&S is in a spot of bother, but he's doing some fancy foot as he steps left, steps right, and he does not fall to the ground.
Yeah, and it looked like Shock really should have won that one a little bit more convincingly. However, cancelled 2 auto attacks from what I saw and also missed the Q smash on the isolated target. So he's going to be a little bit miffed that that's the way that one went. He's also down in CS, and Eminez is going to be able to shove this lane to turret. So potentially another teleport going to have to come out here. And Legacy seem like really in control of this game. Sure, they lost a Mountain Drake on the bottom side. That's going to be good for things like the Ornn and Mordekaiser. But with everything else, they should be super comfortable.
Going again in for that route right now. Babbitt going for the flash knock-up, and Ash is going to be the impale. That spells disaster. He's teleported in. Summoner's burnt. Wave crashed. Solo lanes are online for Legacy.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a disaster. And once again, to return to the Babbitt narrative, it couldn't be better. This guy's no longer protecting lanes this weekend. He is a carnivore jungler right now. You can see he's not accelerated to pass the Elise in terms of CS, which is what you would expect out of Rek'Sai, but just out-ganking the Elise at this stage of the game. That's super impressive from Babbitt. And I'm really enjoying seeing the evolution as he's now back on this Legacy lineup under Carbon.
Big transition in his playstyle. Be interesting to see how Mir responds in that regard, if he's going to go for some counter jungling or what kind of pressure he can emit on this map. As Topoon finds himself in a spot above her, he is rather low. Chippies has no summoners, no flash available for Topoon as well. But he has managed to push this wave out as Elise comes on through.
And this is dangerous for Topoon. I would have preferred to see him, honestly, just back. You don't need all that much CS as the Soraka. And if you get doved here, it is going to give some gold over to Miru, who you don't want to give it to. See whether Miru goes for it still.
Mir has flash, bear this in mind. He flashes the Cocoon, it's going to not land. He's now in the fog of war, gets into that brush. He's waiting for the repel to come across. He needs time. But red buff is a crucial factor in securing that kill.
And that's why I said that maybe should have been a teleport recall coming out of Topoon. He's already up in CS. He was doing a great job of dominating that lane, had no summoners available. And there was just no one on his side of the map to be able to help him, right? So I think that that's a little bit greedy. As Soraka, you can afford to miss a wave or two. She's a support. Any gold you get over 0 is a bonus on this champion. That's just a little bit of greed coming out of the Legacy top laner.
Because the standard build that I've observed anyway from Soraka, you're looking at what? Spirit Visage, Redemption, and Athenes.
Yep.
You don't need much.
I mean, if you get Athenes and Redemption, anything beyond that is bonus. He played this quite nicely. I mean, that's a juke out. However, once Miru has used a smite, would be running probably the Mastery as well. Ooh, hold the thought.
The root nearly landing there. Raze could have been in a bit of trouble.
Tickled his bum. Be running Nimbus Cloak is what I was going to say. So when you blue smite people now, you go really, really quick. Isles posturing super aggressively.
I do quite like the Sorcery as the secondary tree, as opposed to your standard Inspiration 3 boots. Legacy going to rotate through now and take the Herald. Doesn't seem to be a response from the Direwolf so far. Mir still at Krugs. Legacy decide, look, you know, that objective's actually not that important anymore. We want to force a fight. Vital burning that flash very early on, respecting the imminent threat that Legacy posed.
I mean, he burnt the flash, which is good because it was a disciplined play to do. However, as soon as you see Chippies on that bottom lane turret, you do not want to contest that 4v5. And even this defense of the top lane is going to be quite difficult right now. You can see Shock has been zoned away.
They are looking to dive this tower. It would seem as the tower's falling down to half. Shock in the bottom part of your screen right now, looking for the grasp in to try and get that death from online. Unable to find it as the Herald now comes across, going to knock those plates down. Moonlight Vigil, are we going to see a 4-man root? We're going to see knock-ups fall, we're going to see damage as well. Tower is gone, a kill to start things off onto Senna. It's kill after kill as we now find at least Death Realm going to finally expire, and another member will fall in the same fate.
And Dials, what are you doing? That's a 4v5 defense when you do not have flash on the most important person in your composition. That was just a wipe. Legacy take 2 turrets, they take the 3 kills, and now they have themselves a 4,000 gold lead and only 10 minutes into the game.
They'll be incredibly happy with that one, find 2 towers as a result of this.
And I mean, this is just really bad misplay coming out because you can see that it's already too late to retreat. But then the great skill shots landing from Eminence, from Raze, the 2 carries of this Legacy lineup. I think the mistake, however, Skimmy, is like 10 seconds before this replay. Give up the top turret, allow Chippies to get himself some gold, become that unkillable threat bottom side. Because right now, you've just accelerated everyone on the Legacy lineup.
And as a result of that one, we're going to see a fairly sizable gold lead start to take place here. You're looking in mid lane, and you're mainly looking at jungle as well, as the gold is starting to creep up 1k and climbing. Legacy very happy with that opportunity being presented to themselves.
And you should always take gold in percentages, right? Where X percentage of gold ahead. And when you're only 15,000 gold into the game, being, 3,500, 4,000 gold behind is certainly a huge deal. That means we're talking about BF swords or, needlessly large rods being completed in areas where you don't have them. Or in this case, Merc Treads absolutely completed on the jungle and mid lane position. That means a CC from Elise is just kind of irrelevant. Way too early in the game. And we heard from Kai that he wanted Miru to be able to carry out this composition. That was kind of the goal yesterday as well. And unfortunately, today it hasn't really worked out.
The response seems to be right now a even trade, top tower for bottom. Seems to be that Legacy are the ones in the driving seat of this, as they will be able to mount a response, it would seem, with M&S rotating on through. Mir is in shrubs of the river, but that's not going to deter M&S to show his face. Because now they seem to respond by going through to mid lane too and just systematically take this map even further.
And that's really interesting from Miru, right? He's normally one of those players that you would expect to go aggressive. Now that Distortion has been used, we'll see whether that is going to be the cue for them to go in.
He's sitting around, and we're going to see what looks to be a deja vu moment up against Topoon earlier in this game. This time the Cocoon does land, but this time Mir decides against.
And I mean, the fact that M&S was able to clear out the lane means that Lexi's already on the second turret. They're running the Demolish. This turret's much easier to take down, and Chippy's not as good at defending.
So Boone tanking his tower right now as the center ultimate comes across. Will the shield be enough? It seems to be right now. The tower's going to fall as the teleport connects. There's the silence onto 2. Death Realm onto Raze. Now can Raze survive? He flashes out. He's doing whatever he can to respond through this 7
the
seconds
heals.
of absolute insanity. The heals are there. The response is fantastic. Legacy, patience, virtue, and just outplaying potential.
Yeah, that was just amazing coming through from Raze, saving the summoner spell for the absolute last moment. You could see Isles also interrupted the Ornn ultimate with his ulti, and that's why the Death Realm had to be cast so early. It was just really well played, honestly, from everyone involved in that Legacy trio. They got themselves the 2 turrets for the 1 trade. They also pick up a winning advantage there in the kills that fell down. And now the Gold League just continuing to accelerate in this game.
It really is starting to spiral out of control right now here, Spawn. It's obnoxious, that's what they mentioned about the Soraka. And between that and the Summoner Heal, Raze may have had a few heart palpitations there.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, but I think that even if Raze goes down, they probably win that, right? There's enough persistent damage coming out. And you can see that Direwolves right now, they're trying to play the map where Legacy isn't. Every single time they see a Legacy member, their only choice right now is to back away. They're just so far down in gold, I expect this next dragon in 2.5 minutes to be seeded over. Really lucky for Direwolves that they were able to grab themselves the first dragon out of the game. Otherwise, we would be looking at like a 15-minute soul point. That's a disaster, really, for the team this early in the game. Especially given the fact that it's going to be Ocean. And Miro, once again, you just can't be anywhere where the Legacy members are.
Vision control right now for Legacy is one that I'd like to highlight. Quite interesting, actually, how much control Legacy have. You're looking at all these control walls from the Direwolves in the river. And that's where Vital will be. Swim with the Sharks, because he is deleted as Mir is forced to flash away as the Repel connects. But Babbitt pops the ultimate. And he goes swimming with the Sharks himself. They are not done with that, though, Spawn. They're finding anybody and everything. Is this the same Babbitt that we've seen in the past? He's 5-0.
I mean, this is just a terrific game from Leo, honestly. He's really popping off all over the map. You know, we've already heard about the Direwolves' reliance on their Korean import jungler. Well, Babbitt's taken it to him today. Eminez, gone fishing.
He's looking for it. The mist will delay. His Vital was in the right place at the right time. Underneath this tower, has to be very careful.
Okay, so brief respite right now for Direwolves, and they'll get to sit there and think, how do we get one team fight? Because being in a situation like this, all you're thinking is if they get themselves a Rift Herald, or if they get themselves, you know, 2 more dragons, this game becomes incredibly difficult to contest. And we know we have to fight probably before 25 minutes. You know, there is going to be a timer put in this game just because of how, you know, hard Soraka and things like Aphelios scale. So what is that time? When do we want to fight? Is it around some ornament upgrades, you know, maybe level 13? Is it going to be when we have 2 items picked up for Vital? Because right now, you know, I just don't see a winning team fight for the Direwolves composition. I don't necessarily think they win the side lane split push either, so the game becomes incredibly difficult. Legacy, on the other hand, they just have free roam of the whole map. They're going to be able to pick up more farm. And the interesting thing about League of Legends, right, is if the early game was tough for you, it kind of tilts the pitch in your favor, right? It's not like soccer if you get 2 first half score against you, you know, second half, the pitch is still flat. Legacy right now definitely kicking home with at least a strong breeze as they find themselves 5,000 gold up.
They're just freely rotating. You can see here M&S running his own show, diving into the back lines of a blue buff invade. He's not got anybody in support, but that's not going to deter him because they do have vision throughout the realm. And they will just keep chasing on through. Rift Herald picked one up. Be interested to see where they decide to place this one. If they're looking to try and knock down some doors into inhibitor lands.
And this is the interesting thing about M&S, right? That is a very high risk, high reward play. Well, maybe medium risk because of the gold lead. But when your jungler and top laner on top side of the map taking Herald, and if you don't have complete vision of bottom side of the map, you can be picked if you look for something like that. You know, 1 cocoon lands out of the blue and maybe an unexpected 80 carry, and you can die. And you give away a big shutdown at this stage of the game. However, the thing about M&S is he does seem to be able to mechanically outplay a lot of these situations. He doesn't get hit by the skill shots. He'll pick up cheeky kills under the turret. And it's kind of a win-more mentality. You know, we're already so far ahead. If we can get 2 plays going at once across Summoner's Rift, then this game is, like, obnoxiously hard to play for the Direwolves lineup.
Let's get into your head and let's get you tilted before this game's even said and done.
He's certainly a tilt-worthy player. He plays with such swagger that it's really fun to watch.
Jumps across there. Now comes the Herald, knocking into that tower. Question is, will that one fall on down? The mist is present. Direwolves holding strong. It's an ARAM right now. 5v5 in the mid lane. You can sense the tension. Sense the moment that this fight might just unfold amongst us.
And the thing about the Legacy lineup is if you don't kill them, they can make mistakes, right? You just saw there that Eminence took a little bit of damage. Isles took a little bit of damage. Doesn't matter. Topoon's just there repetitively healing these guys up. So I really like how they played that. That was a really patient siege. And you can see Direwolves just don't have any options. They're losing a quarter of the health every single time a wave comes in. That time they do back away early. They at least don't lose the ensuing team fight. But right now, Direwolves, you know, they just continue to fall into a hole. Now 6,000 gold down. And Ornn not even in a situation where he can help his teammates out yet. This gold lead certainly still very significant.
Yep, only an Abyssal Master was named with the Cinderhulk too. Not going to be the tankiest member. They're not going to be able to survive long enough to really emit that magic damage differential to assist both Mir and Shock. 2 Drakes so far for Legacy. You can't imagine they're going to lose any more at this stage. They are running rampant on this map. There are pings all across. They are just a roaming death squad. They don't care if you can see them. Eminence just walking straight for a wall. It's like, I will fight. If you give me the option, it's up to you to force these 1-3-1 splits, but we're looking. We're always hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a really good chase off because you can see right now that they're just trying to get waves out as quickly as possible before next, you know, big objectives become available. So Shock really aggressively split pushing in the bottom lane with no vision at all. And Chippy's trying to do the same. This time he's being caught.
Well, we're going to get Collapsed again. What does Chippy's have available to him? The TP, the Ornhorn, and the Flash. Will any of this be used? You'd say, why would you bother? Save that for the next fight. He falls on down.
And you can see that Direwolves trying to trade it for farm elsewhere. They got themselves a bottom lane turret. Now can they get themselves something mid lane?
Will Legacy allow them? That's the question. As the knockup comes in through from the Rakan, Decoy in trouble. The shield is up. He does manage to disengage. Will Legacy decide to force the fight?
I mean, that's a winning trade right now for the Direwolves. They got themselves so much farm in the mid lane. They were also able to take bottom lane turret. You see Chippy's 40 CS up right now over the Soraka, even though 100 CS at 19 minutes is pretty terrible.
Oh, Eminence! This is cheeky. This could actually spell disaster. The Flash goes out. He's got the team in support finally. But once again, highlighting the point that you mentioned, he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely doesn't care, but he should have died there. I mean, all Miru had to do was wait for that stun to land and flash Cocoon, and Eminence dies. That's just a little bit of a misplay from Direwolves, and that's what I was saying. They're going for a mid lane push. They're trying to get as much vision on the map as possible. Eminence knew where they were, you know, and he just sticks his nose in there, has a bit of a cheeky gander. And I personally like it because, once again, that's a win more attitude. That's a, you know, we're going to be able to exploit this through just very good mechanical skill. And there's really not all that much you can do about it if you don't play perfectly. And right now, we've seen so many teams in the OPL just not be able to play perfectly. And this guy getting away with murder time and time again.
Time and time again, play to win as opposed to playing not to lose. Seems to be his mantra. Whatever book he's reading, I want a page of it. He is definitely displaying some beautiful plays right now. He's got the Magi's online with 8 stacks to its name, so really case example there. This is what this guy wants to do. Scanner comes out. They are looking to invade once again. Why wouldn't they? Of course they would. They've been doing it all game, and Chippy's seems to be the bullying point so far, 0-3. Every single time they get a sniff of him, you can see the sheer panic in his eyes as he runs away.
And I mean, there's just not all that much Chippies can do. You can see right now, he's not even on his Sunfire Cape. He's got none of the ornament upgrades coming across, and they have no vision over this portion of the map. Now, they don't have the quickest Baron in Summoner's Rift, but they have one of the safer ones. They've got shielding champions, and goodbye.
That's the jump up. That's the stopwatch. That's the response here for the center ultimate, but is it going to be enough? Flash of Fisher comes across. Babip jumps into the back line. He pounces, and he deletes. Why? Of course he would. He's 6-0. Out comes the teleport, and Nessa Mordekaiser instantly taking you into the Death Realm. 6-0 is this Babip. Can they get the shutdown gold? It'd be so crucial here for Shocks, and he does indeed. Ornhorn now in a choke spot. This could be a fantastic situation. Double kill is what we will find here for the Direwolves. A double kill in response, however, from Aphelios. Raze doing what Raze does best, and now it's the Raze show as he finds that triple kill, looking for the decoy, looking for the ace. And there it is.
Going to be picked up for Legacy right there, and it started off okay. You know, Miru falls down, but trading junglers when the other jungler is 6-0 is certainly a good thing. But they forgot about Raze. He flashes forward in that team fight and completely takes over. Now 5-0-4 on Aphelios. That's what I said. If this Ornn isn't the big super tank in the front line, I just feel like there's no way they can create enough space between all this damage. We see it again. You know, maybe slightly early there from Vital on the shield. It would have helped Miro out a lot. However, flashing away. And the chase continues. Good teleport in here from Shock, and he does win the respective 1v1. He has now all those stats coming across from Babip. And that's why this turnaround fight looks like it could be good. But this is where it changes. Raze dodges out on that knockup, is able to land a great ulti, then flashing forward and blowing up Vital. You just love the unbridled aggression that comes out of Legacy's AD carry. He really knows his damage outputs and was able to absolutely carry that fight.
It's a 1k shutdown onto Babip. It'll be a 1k shutdown onto Raze if they can take him down too. So elusive, 5-0, same as M&S, sitting at 3-0. The flawless game for them so far.
And the thing that I like about Mordekaiser is you have to be really careful with your death throw. Because it makes it an out-and-out 1v1, right? And you have to know whether you win it or not.
Yeah.
And right now, if Raze has turret and glaives, I just don't know whether he wins it. Like, Raze is going to output so much damage. There's no Seekers or Zhonya's Hourglass picked up there. Raze is nearly 3 completed items. I'd like to give it to Shock. Solo laners should win these 1v1s. AD carries shouldn't be able to pick on them. However, I've just seen this Aphelios pick do some real random stuff in recent weeks. And honestly, I'd be a liar if I told you who won that one.
I mean, look at the amount of crit chance now that Raze has online. It's going to hurt. You compare that to what Senna can do. Is Senna going to get given the chance to even scale into that point where she can start to take over the game right now? Muramana and the Blades. It's just not all that much compared to what you can see Aphelios having.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that Aphelios in this situation also just has the added safety of Rakan and the Soraka being able to peel for him, right? So as long as Vital is being dove upon, he's never going to be able to get maximum damage out. That's Eminez's job. And then Raze kind of has all of the peeling tools on his side, and maybe even wins the 1v1 that we'll talk about. So just when you look at team fights, you've got to look at options, and I think the only option right now for Direwolves is if either a cheeky pick comes across, or Legacy start a Baron a little bit prematurely and take some additional damage or something like that.
15 kills to 3 as we take ourselves back to the spot where the fight previously took place. Toying with their food, it really seems.
2-man Baron happening right now. You can see Soraka and Raze were thinking about hitting it. Maybe a little bit too slow.
There's no need for wards when you yourself can become a ward. They're posturing.
And this is good right now for the Direwolves lineup, because you can see bottom lane, it's actually pushing into them. So whoever goes and collects that, whether it is going to be Chippies who has a teleport or whether it's going to be Shock, they're going to get themselves a lot of additional gold. However, they are on this block right now where the Baron is happening and they do not know.
Yep, that control ward disabling all the vision that the Direwolves have put down, and yeah, well, LeBlanc doing what she does best, once again, just jumping in and clapping members, going to try and juke with these clones. Is it going to be successful? He's in deep through this vision. It looks like he may actually manage to get away from this one. He's just going to jump into the Baron pit and juke the center ultimate as well. The Baron's online, the Ornhorn comes across, stack that with the Glacial Fissure, but that's not damage spawn, that is just CC. And now they're finding casualties here and there. 2 are down so far. They want to find a triple, they will indeed. They want to run it down mid, and they want to just take some inhibitors.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been a masterclass from Legacy. They knew exactly how many resources they needed to do that Baron. Coming out of Fog of War, not the correct people face-checking right now for the Direwolves lineup. It needed to be either Shock or Chippies going in first. Miru gets caught out. That's going to be Inhibitor. And from here, with Baron up and available, with another Dragon, the Soul up in a minute, options starting to very much run out. If not already gone, to be honest, you know, nearly 10k the gold lead, and base about to be broken in 2 areas.
Lane pushed in the bottom lane, seamlessly transitioning into there. Let's take a second inhibitor, that's our insurance policy. Constant pressure in the lanes, Baron inspired minions at that, so definitely going to pump out some damage. Now the question is, are they going to back away? You'd imagine they would. Spend that money, pick up the Cloud Soul. Pick up the Dragon Soul. And look just to clean house this game out.
And we said that Eminez picked up the Magi's at 8 stacks. He now has 24, and this is how he's been able to generate it.
How does this guy
is
just not
one
die?
person amongst 4. He's just able to be elusive. He's communicating really well with his top lane in Topoon of when he's going to pop out of that Death Realm, and is able to just
Look at it!
completely nullify any damage. As everyone's holding their attention on him as well, Raze is just an absolute turret. You know, he's pumping out DPS, and this is going to be the soul fight. I expect Direwolves to take this. There's not really all that much you can stall out for, so you may as well throw the kitchen sink and see what happens.
How he didn't die there, I'll never know. He beautifully coordinated that one.
And I'll go on for it.
That's the Cloud Soul. Keep saying Cloud Soul. There is the Ocean Soul. 3 of those to your name, so a fair bit of health sustain if they were to mount up some poke. But I mean, really, if you're looking at the poke from Direwolves, where are you expecting it to come from?
Yeah, I mean, it's really Senna at this stage, right? She's got herself 3 items. She is to the situation she would want to be, but no one else has an ornament item to be upgraded anywhere. So kind of what we were talking about in pick ban, right? Ornn not going to be all that useful in this game. The scaling just going to not be at all a factor. And Eminez is trying to 1v4 mid lane right now and just keep this creep wave buffed up.
He wants some more Magi stacks. Aphelios now on 100% crit chance with Double Zeal. He's pushing mid. The rest of the team are on top. And it seems to be the legacy mantra as to let's just clear this map out completely. Supers in every single lane.
You have to fight now. You cannot let them push all 3 waves with double super creeps. They just don't have the wave clear.
They're also hanging on here. Their Nexus is in the balance. 18 kills to 3. A soul in your pocket. Legacy don't need no Baron. They don't need no Elder. They have the damage in the pocket already. 10 kills, 0 deaths on the major carries of this composition. The first Nexus tower to fall. It's down to half. The Death Realm comes out very early onto Topoon. He's 0, 2, and 10. They want to try and remove the silence, the oppression, the damage, the annoyance that Soraka can emit. Bebop in the backline has a GA being so annoying, and this instantly deletes Mir. No smite, no slow, no chance to defend right now. Chippy's in trouble. He will fall. Aphelios is getting rowdy about it. 8, 0, and 5. Double kill to his name. Now they're just farming stats. They're doing an order on our spawn. They want to look good. The second tower falls. The Nexus is in the balance. Chains at the fountain. Fall on down. Give me your blood. I want to get kills. I want to win this game. As Legacy claim victory and go 4-0.
Yeah, and I mean, Skimmy, they just look dominant at the moment. That was a flawless performance from the Legacy lineup. Once again, a different look composition as well. Topoon this time, not on a super carry, but on a denier in the Soraka. Eminez again found his LeBlanc. It has to become a ban sooner or later. But the man I want to focus my attention on is actually Babip in the jungle. I think that was a stellar performance
100%.
throughout the early game. Bridged that gap for his composition. Definitely outclassed Miru and had a really nice performance, setting up Eminez and Raze to be able to carry in that late game.
Definitely hard carried that early game with the aggression from the tower diving to the ability to make sure those solo laners were able to do their job. At this stage, you know, you look at a performance like that and you would have to feel intimidated and you would have to start adjusting your, you know, your bands as to sort of the comfort some of these players are able to achieve.
Yeah, and you know, your move now, Chiefs, because it looks like we're going to have 2 undefeated teams after week 2. And Legacy look much more impressive this week than they did last. Chiefs, however, handily took care of Order yesterday.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to see our next game to see how they perform.
Can't wait to see how this day flies on out. Obviously, Legacy taking on Mammoth yesterday. Chiefs up against Mammoth is our next match. But for the meantime, Legacy dismantle Direwolves. And I'm going to throw it back to the desk with Nick and Rusty.
It's a couch. It's a couch, Skimmy.
It's a couch.
I'm still
and
so
I'm
used to
adjusting
putting the
myself
desk.
on it. Shades of the Order game that came before it. I mean, just so definitive from the draft onwards.
Yeah, there was shades of it, just, you know, with a hint of depression thrown in there because it was a Soraka composition. That's one of the key differences. The similarities with it was slow-paced, it was methodical, it felt like their opponents never really had an in. And that's obviously really hard to play against, right? And it was mentioned through Kai in the coach interview. He was like, we just picked Ornn for the composition. And it's like, they didn't just pick Ornn for the composition, they picked a really hard matchup.
Yeah.
And they made it as hard as possible for themselves through draft. And we really felt that when the game was played.
We felt it big time. Babbitt, welcome back.
What's up? Good to be back.
how do you feel? Rusty, you had a question for him.
Yeah,
which you-
well, I guess my question was, are you happy that you had like
That was a good game. Yeah, I'm happy about that
Soraka
one.
top lane into an ore? Just felt so sad watching, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. I mean, in my opinion, Soraka top is just like too OP right now. Like people are trying to come up with counters like Sona and stuff, but I just feel like even if it goes down 1 kill, 20 CS, like it's still so like giga like busted. So I don't know, just Soraka OP.
He seems happy.
your actual question was, do you enjoy the suffering of others?
Yeah.
Do I enjoy the suffering
Yeah.
of others?
I think it's more of a Topu question, right? Because he
Well,
was the one
I think
playing
I think it's a legacy question.
Fair.
I feel like it's a.
I think Jahoon or Topun especially loves those matchups. Like he really loved Klepto. Like he really loved Klepto. So he really likes those matchups where you're just toying with your opponent and you're just winning.
I mean, there's not too much I feel like we can take analysis-wise from this game, but you can look at the split so far. You guys, as Jake mentioned, along with the Chiefs, the two dominant teams in the OPL so far. How are you maintaining the course mental-wise?
I just think our development has been pretty like good. Like at the start when we first started screaming, when we first started playing, like to be honest, it was a bit of a miracle we went 2-0 the first week because I didn't feel like we were that strong of a team. But we've made a lot of breakthrough moments this week, so I just feel like it's really coming together. And our baseline is like it's there now. Like now we just need to build on top of that. So yeah, I feel good.
Saw Carbon upstairs in the kitchen. We were walking out of where we were watching at the Win, and he's just sitting there like dead-eyed, staring at the television. The Nexus explodes. He's just like, "Woo!"
That was woo as well,
Yeah, I was just like, he's already thinking about next week. He's got his eye on that trophy.
Yes, and so do we.
So do you. All right. Well, congratulations on the win, and we'll be back right after this short break.
Are we going to see a 4-man route? We're going to see knockups fall. We're going to see damage as well. Tower is gone. A kill to start things off at the center. It's kill after kill as we now find Elise Defram going to finally expire and another member will fall. Can they get the shutdown goal? It'd be so crucial here for Shox, and he does indeed. Ornhorn now in a choke spot. This could be a fantastic situation. Double kill is what we will find here for the Direwolves. A double kill in response, however, from Aphelios. Raze doing what Raze does best, and now it's the Raze show. This one, he's just going to jump into the Baron pit and juke the center ultimate as well. The Baron's online, the Ornhorn comes across, stack that with the Glacial Fissure, but that's not damage spawn, that is just CC, and now they're finding casualties here and there. 2 are down so far, they want to find a triple, they will indeed. Bevip in the backline has a GA being so annoying, and this instantly deletes Mir. No smite, no slow, no chance to defend right now. Chippy's in trouble, he will fall. Aphelioskin's getting rowdy about it. The Nexus is in the balance. Chains at the fountain. Fall on down, give me your blood. I want to get kills. I want to win this game. As Legacy claim victory and go 4-0.
Imagine if you took Coca-Cola No Sugar and full-on froze it. Well, now you don't have to. Head down to Macca's and try the new frozen Coke No Sugar for just $1. Exclusive to Macca's.